Oh yes, round of viewers, as always, it's me, Nathan Matov here at KISA Projects. Remember, your home for entrepreneurs where no one can be too young to own a company. Today I'm here to talk about the art of bookbinding. The art of bookbinding is an ancient craft, but it's not very difficult to do. With almost less practice from qualified personnel like KISA Projects, you can really get some results. We are going to be uploading videos in parts showing you how you can do the chain stitching in the art of bookbinding. Those who are interested in art training, we currently charge 150,000 for the ordinary counter books. However, those who want to enroll for the commercial binding techniques, we charge 250,000 Ghana shillings, but the course will last for 2 days. We also have a bookbinding kit that goes at 5 Ghana shillings, 3.5 there. We train you for 3 days, and the kit comes with a book cutting, guide on tying, and all other necessities needed for you to start bookbinding at a commercial level. Keep watching, and without wasting time, the chain stitch bookbinding pattern is what has brought us here. The chain stitch is a bookbinding sewing pattern that can be used on single or multiple section bindings. When formed correctly, completed stitches will look like a chain going up the spine of the book. Chain stitches are both strong and decorative and can be used creatively in many different ways. In this video that I will be uploading in a number of series, each series not lasting for more than 2.5 minutes, I'll be binding a 15 signature hardcover case-bound book using the chain stitching method. Patiently and kindly keep watching as you are learning from me. The case binding method improves upon the original vellum bindings, enabling books to survive hundreds, even thousands of years. While the steps to create one are not complicated, there are several other steps. Since I am also making the KISA Projects collection of books right now, I thought it might be fun to bring a camera along and show you how each one is created. To simplify the process, I have broken this case binding tutorial in 2 parts. Keep watching, but don't forget to choose KISA Projects once interested in such classes. We are open for business Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and we are located in KOMAMBOGA or KUMUKAAGA along GAYAZA Road. Allow me to enlighten you on the steps I will be taking in this journey of binding my 480 pages hardcover book. As you have just previously watched, I begin by folding the papers. I should determine the grain direction first, and once determined, then I create the signatures. I have used 8 sheets per signature and I have created 15. You may as well fold the remaining 2 pieces of paper individually, and these can serve as the intro and outro sheets. I found this unnecessary for this case. Now stack each of the end papers in a half using a bone folder to crease each fold. Stack the signatures, intro or outro sheets if created, and end papers together. Place all under a spendum for at least 20 minutes to force out excess air. Obtain better results by leaving the signatures under weight for a day or more. I do this, but you can skip if this is your first time. Are we together? Should we continue? Don't forget that we charge 150,000 Ghana shillings for the ordinary book binding techniques. However, those who want to go for the commercial book binding techniques, we charge 250,000 Ugandan shillings, and also have a commercial kit that goes at 5 Ghana shillings, 3.5 million. I am still Nathan Matov, your boy here at KISA Projects, and let us continue. Remove the signatures from underweight on a spendum. Open each signature and using a ruler, measure out each sewing station on the fold from left to right. Note that I am just enlightening you on the steps I am taking in the course of binding this book, but to become a professional bookbinder, please don't wiseacre and gamble on this video claiming to be benchmarking, but rather enroll with us at just a 250,000 and learn the techniques for commercial gains. Create a template like one you just watched me creating to easily mark sewing stations on each signature. Using a tapered light duty awl, call it empiso in Luganda, gently pierce each sewing station from inside the signature to the outside. Repeat for each signature. Now it is time to sew the signatures together. Cut a length of waxed linen thread approximately 4 to 5 times the height of the book. Now thread the needle. Move one end of the thread through the eye of the binding needle. Pull the thread until it reaches the tip of the needle. Then poke the needle through the middle of the thread. Kindly note that in this video there are some crucial steps that we have cut off because we are protecting our inventions only to be shared to our trainees. Move the thread back down the shaft of the needle. Once it reaches the eye, pull the long section of the thread until a knot forms at the base of the eye of the needle. You are ready to sew. Stack the signatures so all of the spine face the same direction. Holes lined up. Holes lined up. Ng'obutuli bwonna bwonna bw'okubye mu signatures butunudde waggulu. That's what I'm meaning. Start with the top signatures. We will call this signature 1. Pass the needle into station 4 from outside to inside, leaving about 2 of thread outside the signature. We will tie this off later. Next, move the inside of the signature to station 3. Pass the needle through station 3. You are now outside the signature. Continue on to station 2, moving the needle from outside to inside this time. Repeat this process with the first sewing stations. Once the final station is reached, that is station 1, you will be outside the signature. The powers are what we call the signatures, or emifunyilo. Move the needle into station 2 from outside to inside. You will notice the gap between the two stations has been filled on both the inside and outside of the signature. This is exactly what we are trying to do. Continue to the right, moving in and out of the sewing stations until you reach the final stations. Byangunyo. Kindly remember to choose KISA projects if you are interested in such trainings. We are located in KOMAMBOGA, KUMUKAAGA along GAYAZA Road. We have a bookbinding commercial kit that goes at Afghanistan 3.5 million. Once you purchase that kit, we are entitled to give you training that will last for 3 days. However, for those who are interested for just our commercial training, we charge 150,000 Ghana shillings, and the class will last for just 2 days. And the ordinary training, the knowledge-based training, lasts for 1 day, just 4 hours, and we charge 150,000 Ugandan shillings. Whenever I speak of signatures, I'm meaning piles. Piles, when I count like 8 sheets of paper, then I fold them into, I fold the 8 sheets of papers into a half. So that omufunyiro is what I'm calling a signature or pile. Then the needle is empiso. Then the binding wick is the wuzi. Then the stitches, jentunga, jemitungo, evengeri jentungamu. Then the stations bwe butuli empiseyo mwekorachi mweita. Hopefully now it's drawing a clear picture to you, especially my clients who are well fluent with the Luganda language. Okay. As you can clearly see or watch on your screen, at this point I have just created the first stage of the book block. Congrats to me. Next, I will apply glue to the entire spine. Finally, I will add the end bands and mount before letting the text block rest for several hours to fully cure. Allow me to reinforce the spine. Now that everything is in place, it is time to apply glue to the entire spine. To do this, lay the book on each side with the spine slightly over the edge of a work table. Lay a weight of some kind on top to hold the block in place, carefully not to cover up the spine area. Using a paste brush, apply a layer of PVSC to the entire spine. Allow to dry for 15 minutes. Apply another layer of PVSC and allow to dry for 15 to 25 minutes. Now let's prepare our book cover. You are still with Nathan Matovu, your boy at KISA Projects, a home for entrepreneurs where no one can be too young to own a company. We discovered learning happens best when it is done in a way that is practical, relevant, and engaging, rather than doing it in a way which is just theoretical and decontextualized. We are always open for business Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Need to talk to us? Our contacts are +256 752 492194 or +256 779 593452 or +256 702 756 All our numbers are available on WhatsApp. Start small, dream big. We are here to deliver, but not to sell. If you are still following up on these videos, thumbs up for you. I am glad this captured your attention. Let me explain in details common bookbinding terms I've repeatedly been using in these tutorials. For those who are just bumping on these videos from this part, well, I have been using some bookbinding words and phrases throughout this tutorial, so I am calling them out here for added clarity. You may already know what these mean, but kindly be patient with me as this is targeting only those who aren't certain about their meanings. If you are brand new to bookmaking, be sure to check out the KISA Projects office for all your bookbinding tools and Surprise Quick Start Bookbinding Kit, which includes a more robust list of bookbinding tools and equipment and anything that might be helpful for this case binding skill. The common terms that I've frequently been using in the art of binding this very book include an awl. This is the tool I've used in bookbinding to pierce paper, creating an opening through which thread can be sewn. I've also been talking about end papers. In case bindings, note this very well. In case bindings, these are papers at the start and end of the book, usually decorative, which are pasted down into the case. When I say the case, I'm meaning the cover, in order to hold the text block in place while allowing it to open. Let us also talk about the end sheets. These are the papers at the start and end of the book which provide a pause or introduction before the text begins. They are never glued to the cover. However, artistic bookmakers like to think of these as the curtain that rise before the real show begins. There is also what we call end bands in bookbinding. These are elements placed at the head and tail of a book, usually to reinforce the spine. Today, end bands may be hand-sewn or manufactured and serve more of a decorative purpose. However, for this book that I'm making today, I will not use the end bands. But when you choose the KISA projects for training, we shall as well train you how to make your own end bands and attach them to your book being bind. Let's also talk about the marl. This is the material used to cover the spine, providing added reinforcement. A marl is typically made up of starched linen material. Let's also talk about the PVAC. This is a water-based adhesive. I commonly call it a polyvinyl acetate that is non-toxic, acid-free. However, it dries clear and remains flexible. Next is the sewing station. A specific place on the spine of a signature where a hole is pierced, enabling the needle and thread to pass through during the sewing process. Then I will finalize with the text block. However, the video is still continuing until we finish the entire book. We are still here with you. We can alternatively call this a book block or the heart of the book. These are pages of a book that have been sewn or glued together into a single unit. Later, this text block is adhered to the exterior case via the end sheets. And at this very moment of time, you are watching me trimming the book using a book cutting guillotine. So what I'm trimming is what we call the heart of the book. And are you still on? We are not yet done. We are just beginning. Shout out to all those who have been following us right from part 1. We have just created the heart of the book. This is what I call a spendum. This is what I've been using to lay flat my book. This is what we call a text block or a book block. But usually, as for my side, I always term it as the heart of the book. So I've perfectly made our heart of the book. So the next step is to make the cover and then attach it to the book block. So that's what we are going to do next. For such trainings, always choose KISA projects. We are always open from Monday to Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you're located in KOMAMBOGA or KUMUKAAGA along GAYAZA road. However, for the ordinary training, that's what we call the knowledge-based kind of training, we charge 150,000 Ghana shillings for the art of bookbinding. However, those interested in the commercial training, whereby we shall train you how to manufacture all kinds of books, we charge 250,000. However, that costs us for 2 days, and the other knowledge-based kind of training lasts for only 1 day. It will take only 4 hours. We also have the book binding kit that goes at 5 Ghana shillings, 3.5 million. Once you purchase that kit, we are entitled to give you all the necessary tools or devices and even machines inclusive that are required for you to start the art of bookbinding for commercial benefits. As you are watching right now, I'm using my pair of scissors to trim on the regular paint brush so that it can be having a hard surface, and it will help me in making the gluing so smooth and easily. With us, no one can be too young to own a company. Start small, dream big. Skill will always pay your bills. We started operations in 2016, 2nd December, but we fully went registered on 27th of January 2017. Hence, we're a licensed and registered company. Quite a number of people have been coming and asking for our services, and all those that we have worked on are performing well in various trainings, are performing well in various productions in and outside the country. With our offices located in KOMAMBOGA or KUMUKAAGA along GAYAZA Road, we guarantee to you that once you choose us, you have 99.99% chances of succeeding in the venture that you have enrolled with us. We discover that learning happens best when it's done in a way that is practical, relevant, and engaging, rather than doing it in a way which is theoretical and decontextualized. Hence, we decided to capture this video showing you how the chain stitching method is being done by even those big companies. Such books that we are manufacturing, when you find them in supermarkets, they go to a thriving price up to something like 50,000. You can find a book of sword that the one I'm manufacturing here in the supermarket, and it is costed at 50,000, and even some are costed at 70,000. Moreover, what I'm making is extra huge. Remember, I'm making a book of 480 pages. Wow, that is huge. So right now, I'm piling up the book cover. I want to explain to you the steps I'm going to take in the course of making this book covers. Kindly bear with me and be patient as you are listening from me. Let's now proceed with creating a case binding. If you are here, that means you have already completed watching how the text block was made in the previously uploaded tutorials. If not, head back and watch the previously uploaded video on this very topic before starting this tutorial. This is very necessary before we can move forward with the casing in process. To simplify the end-to-end process, I have broken this case binding tutorial into several parts that I will be uploading day by day until we get done. Enough of the talk, it is time to finish our book. All the work I have done so far is about to pay off. In these final tutorials, we are bringing the finished text block and case together. This process is called casing in. Casing in a text block can be nerve-wracking, but don't worry. Simply choose to train with the KISA projects first for practical tips on how to simplify the hard work. I am as well demonstrating how this is done in this very video. Please choose to train first at KISA projects before diving in yourself. This video is just intended to show you that such product can possibly be manufactured from home by use of hands and available simple tools. Before we start, I just want to say one thing. Thank you for always considering KISA projects for such lessons. Okay, let us get started. I will begin by mentioning the tools I will be using for this very process, beginning with a finished text block, or what I was calling a heart of the book. There's also straw boards, a sheet of wax paper, and this should be cut into two pieces, a piece of newsprint or lightweight paper to absorb moisture. Several pieces of waste paper will also be required. Still, we shall need PVSC adhesive, a binding press or a book press, a manual clamp, but this is optional, a bond folder. You also need paste brush and paper cutters. However, a ruler, scissors, pencil, among others, are also a requirement. Well, still I will be using some bookbinding words and phrases throughout this tutorial explanation, so I am calling them out here for added clarity. You may already know what this means, so feel free to patiently hold on as someone else may be illiterate about them. Starting with the casing in. This will be the process of covering a finished textbook with a hardcover case by pasting the textbook's end paper into the front and back covers of the case. The head, and this is the top edge of a book. The tail, obviously, this will be the bottom edge of the book. This is what we call a fore edge or a fore edge. This is the outer vertical edge of the pages of a book. Then in methyl cellulose, you can abbreviate this as MC. This is a chemical compound derived from cellulose. It dissolves in cold water, forming a clear viscous solution or gel. In bookbinding, we add this to PVSC adhesive to increase drying time. A longer drying time gives you more room to reposition pieces before they solidify. Okay then, these are the steps I am taking to case in the textbook. I said case in means to cover the book with the cover. I begin by fitting the textbook to the case. I place the textbook inside the case to simulate what it will look like when complete. Fit the block so it is roughly 0.5 centimeter from the head and tail of the case. You will likely notice the textbook's fore edge either meets or slightly exceeds the fore edge of the case. We will need to trim this back. Lay the book on the table using care to keep the textbook in the same place. Carefully open the cover. Try not to move the textbook. In general, we want slightly more room on the fore edge than we do on the head and tail. If we have a 0.5 centimeter space between the head or tail of the textbook and the head or tail of the case, then 0.5 to 0.75 is sufficient on the fore edge. With the book open, use the ruler to measure roughly 0.5 centimeter in from the edge of the case. Place the textbook inside the case roughly 0.5 centimeter from head and tail. Close the book carefully not to move the textbook. Open and roughly eyeball where you want the fore edge to end. Line up the ruler so it is even from head to tail. Hands working with textbook and case, using care to fit them together in order to determine how much excess to trim away from the fore edge of the textbook itself. Use a pencil to mark a line at the head and tail. With the cut line in place, remove the textbook from the case. Set the case aside. Lay the textbook on a self-heating mat and square up the edges. If you have a manual clamp the book in place near the spine so it will not move while cutting. Using a ruler, preferably with non-skid backing such as cork and paper cutter, slowly cut away the excess fore edge from head to tail. Do not move too quickly as the blade may mark the paper. After each stroke, remove the extra paper and resume cutting. Now it is time to case in the textbook. With the fore edge trimmed, it is time for the final step. Casing in the textbook. Place the textbook inside the case, positioning so there is roughly 0.5 centimeter from head and tail and 0.5 centimeter to 0.75 from the fore edge, depending on how much it is trimmed. Lay the book on the table and open the cover carefully not to move the textbook. Gather 2 sheets of wax paper, newsprint and waste paper. Set the newsprint and wax paper aside. Bring forward the waste paper. Open the end and place a sheet of waste paper inside. Snug up against the spine. If you have a clamp, use it to hold the waste paper sheet and textbook in place. If not, use care not to move either while gluing. Using a paste brush, apply glue under the marl first. Lay the marl down onto the glue and add more glue on top. Apply glue to the rest of the surface, but be careful not to add too much. You want a nice even layer. The end paper will begin absorbing glue, curling at the edges. Move quickly but use care not to tear the paper. With the glue applied, remove the clamp and waste paper. Place your dominant hand under the wet end paper, allowing it to lay across the back of your hand. Press down to hold the book in place. Using your other hand, bring the cover up. Align the cover spine to the textbook spine, pressing down at the hinge location. Carefully lay the cover down on top of the wet end paper and press lightly. Quickly turn the book over and open it to the now glued end paper. If the end paper is slightly off, this is the time to correct it. Carefully lift the paper away and reposition. Your ability to do this will depend on 1. The end paper thickness. Thinner end papers may tear, so use caution, and 2. The type of PVAC. Standard PVAC will dry quickly, while the KISA Projects 403 PVAC is thicker with more wiggle room. A simple tip: adding methyl cellulose to your PVAC will add more drying time, giving you room to move the sheet around. Once the end paper is in place, use your fingertips or a bond folder to smooth out air bubbles and wrinkles. Place a sheet of wax paper between the bond folder and end paper to further protect the paper from tears while smoothing. Insert a sheet of wax paper between the text block and the newsprint. This is very important as it will prevent moisture from absorbing into the rest of the text. However, before flipping the book over, hold it in your hands and gently squeeze along the spine. This helps to press out air bubbles and adhere the mold to cover, creating a stronger bond. Lay the book on the table and open the final side. A clamp is no longer necessary as the other side is already held in place with PVAC. Insert your sheet of waste paper and repeat the gluing process. Once the cover is done on this side, squeeze the spine once more from top to bottom. Now insert the wax paper and newsprint. Lay the book on a solid surface and press heavy books over top to press. Leave the book under weight for an overnight. Congratulations, you have created our beautiful book using the case binding bookbinding method. Well, skill will always pay our bills. And our book is finally done. However, I first have to compress it, remove any air pockets, and to enable the papers to lay flat again so that my book can look brand new. That's why I'm still putting in under a spender. I'll just keep it aside for an overnight. Then we shall see the outcomes soon. Keep watching. We are going to watch it all right from scratch. Remember, we started from folding the papers to create what we called signatures, and now we have a ready book. Let me remove it from the spender and we see how eye-catching or catching the book is. Yeah, this book can even stand on international market, and yes, you can give it any price, and those people are looking for beautiful custom made books can always choose you to bind for them their books. Choose KISA Projects for such trainings. Remember, I have also a book binding kit of 3.5 million. I will tell you that come for this kit, you won't regret choosing KISA Projects. Yep, finally and successfully we are done with binding our 480 pages book. We have used the chain stitching method. So this is what we call a case bound book, or commonly known as a hardcover book. Look at how nice and perfectly this book has been handmade. See how the spine has been designed. So we decided to make the cover with 2 colors. We have this black and then green. However, at the back face we used 3 colors. We have black, this off-white, green, and black. See how nice the spine is looking. Look at the perfection. No one can tell that this book was handmade, but actually it has been handmade. Yeah, look at how each stitch was being done perfectly. Let us open and we see the inside. If at all the book has the capacity to lay flat while opened. You see how the papers are cleanly sitting on each other. Very neat and perfect. Let us open and so that the book has the capacity to lay flat while opened. Knowledge is power. For such trainings, always choose KISA Projects. We are a home for entrepreneurs where no one can be too young to own a company. Start small, dream big. Let us open. You see our book has the capacity to lay flat. Look at this point closely. Here, you can perfectly see that the cover is separate from the spine of the book. So this gives the book capacity to lay flat while opened. So the first page was designed like this. Yeah. So in open, now these are our pages. When you count these pages, they add up to 480 pages. Look at this point as I'm opening the book. I'm going to open very many pages at once so that we see whether it has the capacity to lay flat. Look at that. Wow! It has the capacity to lay flat while opened. Very big. It has up to 480 pages. You see the cover, see the heart of the book, and see how each signature was being stitched to one another, and see the perfection of the work. You can now guarantee that it's only KISA projects on the African continent that can give you international standards for all those people manufacturing or doing productions. So we are located in KOMAMBOGA or KUMUKAAGA along Gaza, and I've been doing this book right from scratch on camera. So this is our end results. Neat and perfect, and the book has 480 pages with 15 signatures or piles, each pile being made up of 8 sheets of paper, and each sheet has 4 pages. Only at KISA Projects. Yeah. This book is going to be kept here at the office for all those who would want to have a look at it. Yeah, you can come. And if you come and purchase our book cutting kit, if you come and purchase our book production kit of 3.5 million binding such books, will be part of the training among other book types. Look at the spine, then the front face, and the back face. With that all, I remain your boy Nathan Matov here at KISA Projects. Peace and love. I sign out. See you when you come here at KISA Projects for training. We are open Monday, Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Bye-bye.